Ahoy hoy, it is I, Shane Lam 67. Yeah, okay. That would sound a little bit more epic in my head. Alright, I need to get that guy from all those like reality TV shows like X Factor does all, and like America's Got Talent and shit like that. Like does all like the big epic voice stuff. But for now we must make do with my bad impression of this. Okay, so I just want to do a quick video talking about how I'm going to weather this plane, as Cohen so aptly called the banana plane, which I didn't think of it until now, but yeah, it's very yellow. But in the next couple of steps we're going to tone that down quite a bit. So I was kind of thinking about how I'm going to weather this plane, and I haven't really weathered aircraft before. So this is kind of how I'm going to do it. Actually, no, I just forgot I should have added another colour here. So I'm going to have two colours here. Yeah, right. Yeah, anyway, okay, there's matter. We're going to move on for now. So these are kind of the general colours I'm going to use to weather. So I'm going to do a quick speak through, and then I'm going to do them in the next vid or later on in this. So like, I'm used to weathering armour, and I know planes weather slightly differently. There's more what you call like directional weathering from the airstream, which actually adds for very nice streaking. So first, the aircraft has been coated in, I don't have any glass coat, but I got this shit, which is hard coat from Citadel. The tin's okay, it's crap, I don't like it. I still left me with some silvering, but I think that's more because the deckle film's a little bit heavy, but what can you do? We just make do what we have, and this again is a learning curve. So first, the model is going to be washed in this, which is from, I actually have the, oh, sorry about that. Now, like Cohen was leaving my compressor on. So this is just a decanted and tint with white spirit, and this is 502 Octalung model colour, shadow brown, from MIG. Very good colour. I'd actually strongly recommend looking into their oils. I bought this about maybe 5-6 years ago, and I still got rakes and rakes of it left. So I just made a wash, and this is going to be spread all over the model, allowed to dry for a little while, and then wiped away with a damping cloud of white spirits, just leaving it in the panel lines. Okay. Then I'm going to probably seal it again, and then I'm going to do some pin washes with yellow ochre and titanium white. This is just oil paint. So I'm going to do that in directional streaks across the wings and down here, just to add, cause like since my panel fading, I didn't go lifestyle for my panel fading, and you can't quite see it. So again, I'm going to weather a little bit like a tank, and I'm going to do it in directional streaking and gravitational streaking. So wherever, I'm after putting this thread up on ISM's aircraft section, hoping that some of you aircraft modelers can give me tips and tricks, and cause I've been on that site for a good while now, but I just actually haven't really built many aircraft on it. So I'm looking forward to having you guys along, and like your support and expertise, and just trying to get to know a lot of aircraft modelers, you know. So these are going to be for my streaking. I'm going to take like a Panzer Grey and light grey, mix it together for my gun stains and for my exhausts. That's what this colour is for. I just can't find the other one. Okay. And then I have a pencil, HB pencil, and a 6B graphite pencil. And these are going to be for doing little build-ups here and there, and just maybe tracing some heavy duty panel lines and the like. I might not do this step, but I was reading an aircraft model airplane, some guys do that, so we'll give that a go and see how that works. I might do that on like the drop tanks and stuff like that, and just to see how that is, because I kind of want to try all of it. My next aircraft build that I ordered myself, and not the stuff that Andy and Carlos are teasing me with. Apparently they got me something, and I'm like, lads, stop buying me stuff, or stop sending me stuff, it's not fair on you. And I don't like, I get excited, yes, and I'm really appreciative of it, but it's not fair on you, because like that's not, I'm not your friend for that reason. I'm your friend because you're awesome guys. and you're funny and it's a laugh, and just general mad things happen when we all get together, which is good. Then I have a filter, which is a red filter from Sin. I believe this is also a MIG production. I know MIG is gone now and is ammo, but whatever, same bloody thing, just different name. This is a filter. I might or might not apply this. I will see. This will be the last thing. If all the streaking and washes are slightly conflicting, I'll use this to tone it all back down. So this is a question mark on how will I use this. I kind of want an excuse, but I don't know what it's going to do. Then on the undersides and lower elements of the aircraft, I'm going to spray AK's dust effects just to build some dust build-up. And then if I want to apply some heavier dust build-ups, I'm going to use Tamiya's Weathering Master Set A. I actually really like these. If you're a young model maker starting off, or you're new to weathering, I'd actually strongly recommend these. They're reasonably cheap. They do last you quite some time. They come in like a makeup set. They have a couple of different sets. You get 3 colours. This one is sand, light sand and mud. There's other ones like soot, snow and fresh mud and all that. You get a makeup, well, it comes like in the makeup stuff, so it kind of reacts to your finger. You mix a bit of, you just dampen your brush or your sponge with a bit of water and you apply. I recommend using this, or even better still, using an old brush. I recommend using something, find yourself an old brush like this, buy some cheap ones and you have more control. So I use these quite a bit. Just be aware, when you're weathering, put these down, and then once you're finished putting them down, don't hand the model, seal it straight away. So if you're using spray, varnish, or even airbrush, varnish it immediately or it'll wipe off. Okay? This is the only thing with that you have to be aware of. But other than that, it's a very, very useful thing, and it's good. And that's it. And I have a sponge here for maybe applying some chipping here and there. I don't know if I'm going to go mad chipping with this aircraft. I'm half tempted to build a Corsair just to like try glazes and to solid weather the shit out of it, but that's a different thing. So that's just my what I intend to do. So this is a bit of a short video. I'm not going to be starting just yet. I'm letting the varnish set. I also did a bit of work on the drop tanks, adding the final decals. You can't see because it's washed out, but I'll take some pictures and put on the build form and see what you guys think. There's a bit of silvering on some of these decals I've seen, but that's more on me. Especially on like the S's and 3s, because they're solid decal. I should have traced my scalpel blade actually around the inside of the leather and removed it, and I would have got away with it. But again, I got some kind of weird shriveling on my do not walk lines there. But again, this is a training piece as much as anything else, and I hope to learn more and more. And I bought this. This is an older issue, but I bought this a couple of months ago, which is Aircraft Modeler. Really, really good. Beautiful, beautiful. It's by the same guys who do Model Military International, I believe. And I've been consulting them for how to weather and how to pre-shade. Unfortunately, my pre-shading, it's only visible in certain areas. I went a bit too heavy and I lost it, and my panel fading then. You can kind of see it in certain elements of the underside. I don't know how well it shows up, and also because of the gloss varnish, it's bouncing back the light at the camera. I didn't go light enough. So because of that, I'm going to have to go in with my weathering to try to reflect that as much as possible. So I'll move this build up. So this is, even though it's a pair of Nigel Wells thing, I've moved this onto a build to an ISM, International Scale Modeler, which I'll put a link to ISM. So anyone who's watching this who isn't a member, I strongly recommend going over to them. Great guys, really helpful. It's a good place to learn your skills and to share and learn skills and all that. So I can't recommend them more enough. So that's where we're at. So it's just a quick video. I'm not going to put this up as an individual video. When I'm not going to sign off, because when you bring it back, we're going to be beginning this, which I'm going to probably do later on tonight. So that's just the first part of this video, and I'll see you in the next. Okay. So thanks for watching the introduction. Any of you aircraft modelers, which I hope some of you are watching, any suggestions on you seeing what I'm going to use for weathering? Would you recommend anything else I may have overlooked, or maybe you've seen something there that maybe is not suited in your opinion? I'd be very happy to hear what you have to say, lads, because at the end of the day, I'm new to this. I'm an armour modeller. I know not everything is cross compatible, as in like some of our skills are redundant in aircraft, and maybe some skills in aircraft are redundant in model making, or in armour making, should I say? Sorry, not model making. So your advice there would be most appreciated, my friends. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in part 2 when we begin weathering. So thanks for looking. See you in a bit, lads. Bye bye. Hi y'all. It is I, Shane, and this is your part 2 of this other weathering video of madness. Alright. I don't know. And no, I've not been drinking nor smoking anything. It just seemed like a good idea at the time to speak like that. Right. So, it was literally 2 seconds ago when I made the first part, but I said the hell with it. The varnish is more or less set now. It's been sitting for these 12 hours. The hell with it. Okay. So I'm going to put my wash down. I was going to put on the top surfaces first because that's the varnish is sat the longest there. So this is MIG's Octalong Range Shadow Brown. It's been thinned quite a bit with white spirit, and I'm using a very soft brush. Wide brush but soft, okay? So I'm just going to, this is going to be what we often known as a sludge wash or a heavy wash. So it doesn't have to be too pretty, but we are trying to get it into all the panel lines, and like this is kind of a good thing in a way as well, because if you've lost your pre-shading, this can kind of help accent the panel lines again. You know what I mean? So though I'm not an expert in aircraft, I'm not an expert in anything, but I'm okay when it comes to this part, because I like making models look dirty, and it's just that they weather slightly different. What we do is we're going to try to avoid getting large pools. Now it doesn't have to be too clean, because we're going to remove a lot of the heaviness, but you don't want it drying too thick. It's going to be pretty tricky to get off at times. So I'm just applying it generously. As you can see, it's immediately toning the model down. Because we've gloss coated it as well, it's reacting very nicely to us. It's not it's flowing very nicely, and we can control it. If we were doing this for the matte, which I've done in the past, I've used matte, I've used satin, I've used all the different varnishes to experiment with them, and I've used matte a lot. You can get away using matte, but it will not flow as nicely, and it's a little bit trickier to control. So satin or gloss is the way forward with washes, especially with oils or enamels. Actually all washes. Though with acrylic washes, they are less forgiving. An acrylic wash, once it sets, it can't be reactivated. And I'm pretty sure it's the same with the clay washes UMP did. So once you put them down, you only have maybe like which how Paul did with his, that he removed his wash, which is that's absolutely fine, blah blah blah. That's not, but you have about maybe 20-30 minutes to get it off before it builds, you know. So I would recommend oils and enamels over acrylic washes for that reason. I do use acrylic washes, but I use Citadel's acrylic washes. I like them quite a bit. They're easy to come by, they're cheap, and actually for the most part they do a pretty good job. But I use them more in figures and in certain armour builds. I never apply them as a sludge wash. I tend to use them just as to accent paints, if you will, to add a bit of weathering. And this is basically what we're doing. We're trying to add an aged effect to this aircraft, because it's operating in a very harsh environment. The desert or the Mediterranean, because these aircraft operated in both, will be quite hard on the aircraft, especially the deserts. I believe these aircraft operate out of the Med, I believe, but their range allowed them to push into North Africa a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I'm not entirely sure there. I'm sure someone knows the history of the Luftwaffe air fleets that operated with the Africa Corps. So again, as you can see, it's not all that pretty. It's a bit messy. The camera doesn't really do a good job showing it up, but it is doing its job. It's accenting all the panels. It's also the thing about the wash is the great forgiver. The wash will forgive you for all your sins. That's how I see the wash. It helps tie in all the mistakes we made, and we do. Like, no, I made a shitload of mistakes. There's a lot of mistakes in this aircraft. And stuff too, that it's not because, oh, I'm new to this, that I didn't have the tools. There's a seam line running down this, I just didn't have any putty or fine sanding to clean up. I'm happy to say I bought some tools that lead to my next aircraft builds. So I have a 48 scale ME109 from the one that Paul built in his tutorial videos on ISM. I have that one lying in the stash the last couple of months. I'm really looking forward to building that. I have another aircraft I have on the mail, and not the one that the lad sent me. I have a feeling it's a plane that they sent me, because they've been teasing me now for the last couple of days with it. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of sussing it out slowly, but I don't want the surprise to be diminished either. Oh, you guys, you're such rogues. So Carlos and Andy were scheming away. You know what I mean? As good friends do. But so this aircraft is designed to be, because I'm really enjoying aircraft. I want to get into it a little bit more. You know, I like armour, but it's fun, and it's something different. I like to kind of do a bit of both. I want to do a bit of maritime as well. You know what I mean? Like, I build most subjects. You know what I mean? Like, but I haven't built all that many aircraft. Come on, I got a few in my stash, but I just haven't built any. And but the one I ordered, I can't wait to get built into it. I'm not going to say what it is. It's I have I will. I got myself a Hobby Boss one. I think I actually might have mentioned already. I told the lads anyway, so they know what it is. I bought a Hobby Boss 148 scale F18A. Got new engines for it, new resin engines from either Quick Boost or Aries. Can't remember exactly who it was. I got the I went mad with aftermarket with this, and like, you know, I know there's a lot of things where you don't need aftermarket, and you don't. But if you know what I mean, if you just want to add an extra element of enjoyment to your model and an extra element of challenge, then by all means. And also, like, there'll be certain models that you just want to kind of do the best job you can and want to do the most justice. And what I mean by that is that you want to add all the details that this aircraft have, and you want to embody as much of it as possible, and sometimes the kits might not have that detail, so you add it. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? But as long as you're doing it for the enjoyment, that you just want to add an extra element and dynamic to your build, that's fine, but never feel you have to, you know what I mean? Your model will your model is just as good out of the box it's just as good out of the box as if you put a load of etch stuff into it, you know what I mean? And I kind of aim that towards younger modelers who may feel that, oh, if I'm not putting etch into my models, there's something wrong. No, work at your own pace there. I also had the absolute pleasure of talking to Cone C last night for the first time. I've been chatting to him for months and months and months on ISM and PMing the whole time, but I never got the absolute pleasure of actually talking to him. So we chatted for about, I say it was pushing 4 hours we were talking, and I had such a laugh. He's an amazing guy. Mike, you're an absolute gentleman, and like, though I fear that if he didn't think that Irish people are insane before he talked to me, well, he probably thinks we're insane now, because I tell him the stuff we used to do when we were growing up. And anyone from Ireland and Britain, and imagine around the continent, Europe too, are pretty much the same. I told him about the rock wars. And I grew up in the 90s. And any of the kids born from late 90s, early 2000s onwards have lost that, because now it's like, we've taken the ability for children, I've noticed, to take blows, and now it's just all we teach them is to be oversensitive and cry. But when we grew up, we were tougher. And the rock war was basically, it'd be a gang of us from school. A lot of times it'd be the guys from one area against the guys from the other. It'd be kind of friendly, but it could be vicious at times. It wasn't, if you get me, it wasn't personal. It wasn't grudge matches. It was organised and chivalrous warfare. And literally, I'm not messing. That's what I'm not saying. It's a fight. It was a war. It was organised. There was hierarchies. There was natural born hierarchies where those who had the most dominant personality, and not the guys who were the most aggressive, but the guys who were just the natural leaders, naturally assumed those roles, and people listened to them. So it's very character building that I was thinking about quite a bit after I was talking to Cohen about it. So basically, this was when we were in primary school. So what, we were from, say, 8 to about, actually younger, from say 6 to 10 or 11. That's when the war was fashionable, and then we kind of realised our luck was running out, so we kind of stopped from the age of 12 onwards, you know. And the idea of the war was simple. Well, actually, there was no real reason, because you didn't get anything for winning. So you went to school, so primary school, which would be from 1st class to 6th class, so what, from 7 to about 11 or 12. That's kind of, that'd be primary school years. So between those, say, 6 years, those 5-6 years. And so you do is you go on the Monday, and then you talk about the war. So you plan the war for the Friday, okay? And you're there, and you're getting your sticks and your ammunition, if you will, your stones, and like, you know, you're trying to get the most aerodynamically sound stones, or the sticks that won't break, and you know what I mean. And you're planning your battle plan, and then on the Friday, you know, you go up to the other teams like, right lads, we'll have our war after dinner. So you know what I mean. Like, this is all before mobile phones. So you know what I mean. It was all like word of mouth. It was very chivalrous. So you know, the war would go on and say, alright lads, after dinner at 1 o'clock we'll have our war. Grand. And we gather. And I don't mean now that it was like foam swords or little dark ones. These were rocks the size of your fist that we were pelt at each other. Well, actually no, they'd be a little bit smaller. Fit into your palm of your hand and you'd throw them. Then you'd sticks that weren't padded. You used to go up and flake the shite out of each other with them. And like, guys were hurt. I've scars in my head from a split open from rocks. That might explain a lot, I probably realise to some people. And this is what we did every weekend. And everybody was friends at the end of it. We all went home, battered. Our mothers would kill us when they saw like how bruised and broken we all were, but yet laughing the entire time because, you know, it was a good evening. And I was telling Cone that we had like different types of guys. You know, you have guys like your laser guided stone thrower who could like clock a guy in the head from like 50 meters out. You know what I mean? Even your man is running. So you have your marksmen, your dead-eye snipers. Then you have your, what I used to call your kamikaze, your suicide bombers, right? And these were the guys that were a little bit denser than the rest of us, but immensely loyal. And you'd have them, and it'd be stocky little lads, you know, so they could take the abuse. And you'd send them running at the other team, especially the other team often would build forts, you know, so that they get some pallets and time together, and or like an old half-built, like into a building site, and a half-built house would make a very good fort. And for us to get in without getting demolished by a wall of stones, you'd have to send in your suicide bomber. So his pockets be full of stones, like gravel, and you'd send them off running. And the lads would be pelted the shite out of them with stones. I mean, like, your man being bit by the time he gets them. And he'd be taking out big handfuls of stones and throwing them left, right and centre, right, in the hope that you hit someone. And then, if you survive long enough to get close enough to them, before you could even think about like whipping out his stick, which, no, we all thought we were ninjas and badass by, do you know, like the little loops in your pocket, in your trousers for your belt? Well, obviously, no, you're young, you don't need a belt because you're, you know what I mean, you're skinny. So we used to tuck our sticks into those like little loops, like almost like scabbards. So before your man could even think about, or even down your t-shirt, like Teenage Mutant Ninja style type of shit there, like, you know. And before your man could even reach for his stick, the lads would have him grabbing it, fill him in, batter him with sticks. You could hear him screaming from across the field, you know. And then that would fire the rest of us up to avenge our fallen brethren, you know. And like, these are all like 8 and 9-year-olds, like, you know what I mean? This is what we do for fun. So like, you know, in places like, you know, like you were saying in Canada, they were getting chased by bears, but ultimately not doing anything too crazy. In Ireland, we were beating the living shit out of each other. And it's actually a bit of a shame why we've stopped doing that now. It's actually, we've lost our rough and readiness, which, that's what makes us who we are. That's what makes us Irish in a way, was that we were the tough ones, and we were the ones that were absolutely insane. There's a reason why the British Army used to love the Irish so much, because it could send them in to clear out the place, like. So like, that's what we used to do, and I'll tell you more stories of our wars, and I'll explain more of the hierarchy of the rock war, the stick war. So if any of you have similar stories from your childhood, do share. We should even do better, make videos of your own and link them into this. Do video responses. I want to hear your rock war stories, and any little like elaborate. Wait till you tell us how we used to play dirty, but that's in the next vid, because I'm running out of time. So please, if you have any stories, please let us share. I'm sure we'd all love to hear them from a bygone day when life was a bit more straightforward and honour prevailed. So thanks for watching. I'm going to let this dry. When we come back, I'm going to wipe this off and we'll continue. Okay, so thanks for watching, and watch out for those buses. See you. Okay, so hang on, sorry. I left this to start for a little while. It's dry to the touch. It dries pretty quick. It's pretty humid today. I don't know, it's actually since the clock went forward an hour. It's been pretty dry. So now the next step is going to remove this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put on my gloves because I don't get white spirits and shit on my hands, because that would not be nice. It's going to be a bit of a long video. So this is going to be a little bit of a tutorial as well for anyone who might be interested. So I'll get my white spirits. I've got a big bottle of it here. Just pour some into the cap. I don't need a lot, just enough to dampen the model. I'll take a piece of kitchen roll, or a napkin, or a paper towel, with some people on the other side of the Atlantic like to call it. So that's like this. I'm going to damp it in white spirit. Not a lot, just a quick little damp. That's it. It's only a small amount. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pull in one direction. So, and immediately the excess begins to lift. But we'll pull in one direction only because we're going to simulate the dirt and grease and grime being pulled by the airstream as the aircraft moves through the sky. And you can see it's just starting to lift right off. So I shall tell you more of the etiquette of rock wars once we finish this, because I'm not too good at talking and working at the same time. I can kind of do it, but I have to kind of almost like do it without even realizing I'm doing it. So we just kind of moisten it, and then we switch over to the dry and clean side of the napkin, and we just pull in one direction. I prefer using this over cotton buds because you don't leave any real residue. The cotton bud has a tendency to leave little fragments of itself, of like the wool and cotton. Can be a bit of annoying. Get off, like. So again, you can see how it's all is coming off now, and all that's left is actually the panel lines and a very, very faint residue on the main panels of the brown, which is what we want. We don't want it to be too stark. Okay, I'm just going to switch now to a fresh piece of cloth. Keep switching to once it starts getting overly dirty, switch to a new piece of paper towel or kitchen roll, because we don't want to keep spreading dirt around, and we just dip one side of it into, just dampen, into white spirit. Or you have turpentine or any type of thinner that will react with enamel or oil. This is oil, so. And what we just do first is we just dampen the area. You can do this with a brush if you wanted to, but no real point, because you don't want to be putting a lot of wear and tear onto your brushes. I'm going to leave a little bit heavy on the engine nacelles because they would take quite a bit of grime, especially from maintenance and oil spills and what have you. Just general. So again, what I'm just doing is, I know you can't quite see, but all I'm doing is, with one side I'm moistening with white spirit, and with the other side, with the clean side of it, I'm just pulling back in one direction. I hate that band so much, bloody bum boys. Sorry. Anyone from Ireland or Great Britain knows who I'm on about One Direction. They are like, oh god, like every like teen girl's like fucking dream, and they're assholes. I hate them so much. So as you can see here in the wing, so like here's on removed and removed, and we should be able to see the panel lines quite well, and I've left build-ups around the nacelles to help accent them. Okay. I'm just going to go back there now along the trailing edge of the wings, and I do this exactly for armour as well. we go. So that's that one side done. All the panel lines now have been picked out. They're quite strong. I've left some heavy wash, you can see here on the end of the nacelles. And now we're going to do the same on the other wing, which, I don't know how I'll do it on camera. No harm in doing it on camera. Just give me 1 second please, I just need to, I've just got an email here I need to respond to, so I'll be back to you in 1 second, my friends. Okay, sorry about that, we're back again. So now we're going to start out with the next wing. Again, like as you can see, it's a pretty quick process, and if you want, you could always come back, seal it once you've removed one layer, seal it again, and with a lighter colour or different colour, you could do it that way and make tonal differences. I'm not going to go to that level of detail, but you could well do that. And so I'm just going to moisten this area again. It's good to be wearing a pair of rubber gloves just so you don't get a lot on your hands. Hey, that's what she said. Bad man. So I hope everybody in the community is doing well. I know there's been a bit of bullshit going on, and you know, things were said that people maybe didn't mean or didn't think too much about before they said it. But I know everybody's allowed to voice their opinions, and I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope bridges have not been burnt, because at the end of the day it's a good community we belong to, and as Colin said, we don't want people being isolated or any crap like that. That's not what we're about. But again, it's just responsibility. If I say something stupid on this channel, I expect people to voice their outrage or their opinion, and do you know what I mean? So that's why you need to be a bit tactful what you say. You should always say your opinion, but don't always expect people to just sit there and take it idly, because they won't. Especially not Irish people. So, though like, I'm not entirely sure what was said, I missed the most of it, but I kind of came into that weird feeling of the residue of that. So let's keep an eye on my time. This is going to probably be a bit of a long video, which is going to be a bit of a first for me, because I have my laptop beside me, so I'm talking to a few people on Facebook, which I shouldn't be, I know, but it also means I can keep dumping information onto the computer, and keep clearing out my memory card and making this video longer and longer, because like normally what I'd have to do is, you know, I make about maybe 20-30 minutes and that's it, but this one's going to be a little bit longer, because I just want to have a bit of a chat, and I know I haven't done a proper chat video in a while. It's kind of like little tidbit videos, and I actually enjoy the chats I have with you, you know. I feel it's just a nice way to discuss this great community of ours and other little things that are going on, and even when things aren't particularly great, as in like people are a bit at each other or whatever the hell might be the problem, it's always good just to remind people, fuck. The hell was I just lost a piece of decal? The hell was it? Okay, so I lost a little bit of the do not walk. Actually I lost all of it. The hell was and it just disintegrated there because it didn't sit on the model properly, but it just didn't sit, so when I moving over it fell off. Again, this is all part of the learning process. So both wings now are good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to the fuselage. Keep an eye on my time, 13 minutes, but I've plenty of time. So again, keep switching out my tissue paper. Some people will be like, well, this is very, I'm going through a lot of stuff, but bear in mind, like, I don't want to be just spreading oils around the place. I kind of, you know what I mean, I only want to dampen them, and then with the clean part remove them. So I'm just going to do the same here. I'm just going to dampen, Don't want to remove all of it, just want to dampen. You're going to pull off the heavy stuff, which is what we want, unless you really want a heavily battered aircraft. But I would recommend that you never just lay it down and leave it. It's not... Aircraft vehicles, cars, whatever, they do not weather like that in real life. They build up their weathering. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just pulling in one direction, up or down, it doesn't matter. So So I'm going to do now is I have a little bit too much here, but I'm just going to dab off the white spirit. I don't want too much, I don't want to damage. So So we're getting there. As you can see, the wash adds a lot of accent to the model, which that's what we want. The wash is designed to do a few things. One, on a cheeky note, is designed to help us hide some of our mistakes. But also it's designed to help pick out panels, help age things. So you can see how the panel lines are just popped right out now. And this is what we want. This is one of the things with armour, models, ships. I've never tried to wash with a ship. No, I have actually. I've made one 350 scale type 7 or 8 U-boat and the wash for a straight method. Again, you regulate how heavy the wash is due to the scale. So the smaller the scale, the lighter the wash, if you understand me. And not the colour of the wash, but the lighter the intensity. So you thin it accordingly. Because if you applied a heavy, thick wash to a 1:350th scale model, you'd lose, you wouldn't be able to control it. It would just swim over the model, and then when you're trying to remove it, you'll end up breaking pieces. So do yourself the favour, think about the surface, think about the model, how big it is, and then thin down accordingly. So that'd be my kind of hot tip there. You know what I mean? And also, don't be scared of mixed colours. You know what I mean? Experiment, you know. Carlos Mendez did a wonderful video on his thoughts on AK interactive washes and filters, and he made some very good points. That you should always experiment with them, always mix and match a little bit. You know, now not actually contaminate the bottles, but take them out into a little pot, mix, and apply it to your model that way. So that means you make your model your own. And I think that's the point everybody's trying to make with photo etch and resin and aftermarket products and all these weathering sets. Don't be scared to make things your own. Don't be scared to do things your own way. Don't be scared to take risks. This is how all of us learnt. Bear in mind, many of us, including myself, like I know I'm not an old fella, you know what I mean? I'm only 23. And when I started model making, I used to buy the magazines, and like I learned that way. It's before YouTube, and like that's why it's a great time to be a model maker right now, a new model maker, because you have this lovely resource that is YouTube, where you have guys, not like myself, but guys who've been at this for years and years, who've been bequeathing information, you know, and like, but like, but then also makes you a little bit worried then that, oh, I don't want to ruin my model. Don't be scared about that. Everything's a learning experience. You know what I mean? It's a bit ethereal, I know, but it's true. Don't be scared to think. Now, I'm going to take a quick break. I need to deal with something right now. But not with the model, just I need to answer a person here, and I'll continue in a second. I'm sorry for all the breaks, but I don't want to be not giving you my full attention. So I'll be back in a second, my friends, okay? I have returned! Alright. So, I'm just going to continue on this side of the fuselage and then the underside, which is being washed with SAF. Like, this is only SAF for about maybe 15 minutes. It's quite very humid day today, I must say, so it's drying nice and quick, which is good, you know. I can be a little bit of an impatient modeler, but I'm going to wear it the correct way. And like Carlos is very, very correct in what he said. I was chatting to him the last day, and he was saying like, no, weathering is one of these things that you don't rush and you build, and it can be a bit boring for some people, but trust me, you will love your results. You know what I mean? So I'm going to do it the right way, because I have a tendency to rush weathering, and our Carlos Mendez is a fabulous weatherer. He's one of the best weather artists we have, I think. And like, in my opinion, I know he'll go say, oh, stop Shane, but that's in my humble opinion. He totally is. He totally is a fabulous weather modeler. Like, the magic that man pulls out of the hat's unbelievable. I mean, like, we all have different type of quality of builders and different styles, and he's one of those, like, very, very pleasant and very, very enjoyable to watch and work. But he made some good points. Is that, you know what I mean? That's trick of good weathering is just to take your time, build up layers, keep sealing, build up another layer, seal your work, protect it, build up again and again and again, and you get pretty nice results, you know. And I'm actually going to try that now, because my F18 build, I'm going to weather it pretty. I was watching a good video, and I'm going to probably play at the start of my build. It might be a little bit copyrighted, but as long as I don't monetize it, I probably shouldn't. I won't get into trouble. Don't worry, okay, yeah. They have nothing to sue. But and it's like an observational documentary or something. It's about 8 minutes long. It's a fabulous video, but it shows a lot of F-18s on the carriers and flying, and you see actually how well they're weathered. So, and how you achieve that in model making is you just slowly build it. You don't just kind of go boom and you have it, you know, because you'll overdo it. Okay, so now that's pretty much what I want to do here. Now we'll go on to the underside, and it's the same as before. Dampen and pull in one direction. Okay. So it's going to dampen or moisten. We don't want to put all I'm doing is I'm just tipping the furry edge of my paper towel into this. That's all I'm doing. So and that's all I'm doing. Just going to dampen just to help me remove it. And then with the clean side, I'm going to pull in one direction. And you tend to kind of, all I recommend is you pull in the direction of the air, of the airflow, of the jet stream. That's the word. I was trying to think of the word there. I couldn't think of it. You can leave it built up in certain areas, you see, you know what I mean? Like, the best thing to do is also kind of maybe just like consult your reference material, or just have, or even just have an like, have an idea of what you want appearance-wise. You know what I mean? Like, think about, do I want this aircraft to be heavily weathered? Do I want it to be gently weathered? Well, I want this aircraft to have a lot of kind of surface weathering, as in not so much paint chipping, but the actual paint itself is suffering a little bit in the sun and in the exposure. That like it's grimy rather than actually like chipped out, which is actually in my mind aircraft would be a little bit more maintained for the most part, you know what I mean, especially in modern times. Now there are certain theatres of operation that take a very heavy toll on aircraft, and like they will normally be quite heavily weathered, you know what I mean. So again, your reference material, or if you're just doing it from a solely artistic point of view, you're not recreating any particular area, then the sky's the limit. Oh, just see what I did there. So I'm going to call this video short, like done now, because it's just I'm going to keep continuing, and the next part I'm going to seal it again. I've also washed like the wheels and other elements, but I'm not going to actually remove the wash on the wheels or anything like that. They're going to be left away there. I'm going to remove the wash on the landing gear covers, and that's going to be it. So in the next video I'm going to seal this all again, and then we're going to start doing our pin washes, and again they're all going to be in one direction with the aircraft, and then we're going to, once that's done, seal it again, and then our build up of dust around like the lower aircraft, the lower parts of the aircraft, mostly focusing around the landing gear areas, and then our gun streaks and our exhaust streaks, then matte coat, and that's it then. And then we're just going to add in the antennas. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this interesting. I'll try to be as informative with the next one. I hope you liked my little story about the rock wars, and I hope you have stories like that, and I really hope you share them. They're always funny stories, and they're good to hear. Cohen thought they're hilarious. It's not mildly insane. So please, if you do have stories like that, share them. I'd love to hear them. I think we all would, because they're always good, light-hearted stories, which we need plenty of. And I'll see you all very soon. As always, watch out for those buses, and I'll see you all very soon. See you. Bye bye.